Hey, so I have discovered a wonderful way to use Google Earth. And so maybe the easiest way to open Google Earth is to go up here and do the spotlight. And there it is. Top hit is Google Earth. Except, see, that's a common mistake I make is I expect them to autocomplete. So let me try that again. Anyway, I guess I did it anyway. So here we are at Google Earth. And what I've been teaching for 3 years now is To Kill a Mockingbird to freshmen every year. And one of the things that I think is neat is that the town in To Kill a Mockingbird, Maycomb, Alabama, fictional town, largely resembles Monroeville, Alabama, the town where Harper Lee, the author, grew up. So if up in the corner here we put in Monroeville, Alabama, it's going to bring us right in. And we're going to get a good map of Monroeville here. Well, I'm going to try this. So clicking on it, just discovered this today, puts it at a little bit of an angle, which is cool. And then Monroeville, Alabama. And I don't need directions. I'm going to take that out of here. But what I want to do is, by double clicking, we're going to zoom in a little bit. And so To Kill a Mockingbird talks about, from the very beginning, it talks about the author Scout and Atticus and their family living on the main road into the town from the south. And so if we look here, it doesn't have I haven't labeled the roads, but I can do that over here. There we go. So if we label the roads, we see that this is called Alabama Avenue, and somewhere around here it has a route number, but that doesn't matter. So she talks about being in that main road and just past the bend in the road. And she often talks about how the Radleys lived on the corner of that bend, and so they could actually see down the street. So I'm pretty sure this would be the bend where they lived. And they were a couple houses up, two I believe, and the Radleys were on the corner. And this kind of corresponds to that description. So if we get a little bit closer, we'll see that back in the day there were houses all along here. You know, they've described across the street there's Miss Maudie's house. There's a bunch of other houses in this area. Now it looks, from best I can tell, it looks like a giant parking lot with probably some kind of a store there. So imagine that where she lived was a little village, and now it looks like a giant strip mall. And even where her house was, it looks like that's been changed and developed. Now I'm making an assumption because nobody's ever told me for sure that that's the way it is. But how do I do that? There we go. Okay. Part of what I think is cool about this is some of the other buildings in the story. So we have over here, this is actually a school. Let me see if I can label. This is 3D buildings. Can we get 3D buildings? Yeah, we can. Borders and labels, places. Well, anyway, this is Monroeville. There it is, Monroeville Elementary School. And so I'm guessing that when she talks about a school being, if her house was here, and she could go by an adjacent field and then arrive at school, that it kind of fits the description. If we go from there, sorry about that, if we go from there, and she talks about where her father worked, right? And she talks about heading north into town, and lo and behold, you head north into town, and here you have town square in the center of Monroeville, Alabama. This building is a heritage museum now, but inside the court, this is the courthouse. There we go, courtroom, an old Monroe County courthouse. It's actually kind of cool. It's a round building, or it's rounded in the front anyway. Yeah, there's the courtroom. And Harper Lee talks about her father being a lawyer and she having been familiar with the courtroom. It's interesting to imagine in the story they talk about the trial of Tom Robinson, and up here we've got the balcony with where the African Americans would have been sitting, and then down below are where the white people would have been sitting, except for Tom. There we've got the judge's chair. We'd have the jury here, and I'm not sure what these chairs are for, but you can imagine 12 jurors sitting there. So we've got the courtroom. We've also got different buildings all around here, and as we go through the story, you'll be able to see more connections about where folks lived. So I'm planning to use this in class with students who, well, I've traditionally taught this with this up on the board in front of them, and honestly, it's a little constraining. And with students having one-to-one technology, I imagine that I could point them in this direction and then give this as a tutorial from which they could explore the town, because it's really a geographically based story, and so the community is really important. The setting is really important. The fact that it's in the South, the fact that it's during the Jim Crow segregation era. I think I'm going to stop. Oh, look, there's the route name, Route 41. So obviously a major road. If I were to work with this more, I could probably target it to particular chapters. I think having the visual connection, and also the fact that there's something sort of nonfiction-ish. You know, the author's life is in many ways the basis for this book. Really helps kids connect with it, helps them picture it. So that's my hope with this. All right, that's been plenty long. I'm going to stop this now, and love thinking more about this. It's cool use of technology.